All right. Well, hello and welcome to the sixth session of Veil Fantasy. This is a fantasy reskin of the Veil by Fraser Simons, a PBTA game, originally a cyberpunk PBTA game that stories about people in that setting kind of living their lives and things going wrong. I think Leandro described it as an engine for sadness at one point during the course of these games. So that's a good way to put it. And there are a couple of sequels to it. We have taken our characters and we are kind of at the final moments of this, the final thing. So we are going to also check in with the players and see what it is they definitely want to get during the course of this session. This session is part of the Gauntlet Hangouts. The Gauntlet Hangouts is an online gaming community. It is focused on a gaming calendar that we set up for people to run and play in an environment that has safety tools. That is for me, my primary purpose. And a lot of us record our sessions and then post those on YouTube. That's what this is. You can find out more about that at gauntlet-rpg.com. So we've got some starter sessions and we've got some advances to do here. So I'm going to start with Arklow. Arklow, you took an advance.
Yeah, I took Things Speak.
Okay. Do you think that comes out of your interactions with the sword, or does it come from your messing with the time stream last time?
I think it comes from the sword, probably.
Okay.
Like it translates maybe for me.
And you have a sword that is hungry, and you were able to feed it at least once, so it is at a hunger 0 right now. But you still need to roll with it.
Yes. Moves. Is the roll for your party is in the moves?
Oh, yeah, should be in. Where's in the gear mask?
Here it is. I see it.
To find it. I'm like, oh, I better put this in the least likely place. There we go.
Yeah, I see it. It's in the other moves. +0. Ooh, that's a 3.
That is a 3. That's great. That's exactly what you wanted.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I wrote this game. Yeah. So, your sword seems calmed, given that you listened to it in the midst of those things last time. You do a pretty good job with that. And I think that's the only starter session that we have for you there.
Yes.
Opal, let's come to you. I think did you get an advance?
Yes, I have enough coin to scrounge up at least one advance out of my 15 XP. I still have 10 left over. Given the circumstances that she's in, I doubt she'd be up for earning more gold lately. I took The Voice from the Doppelganger playbook. I think that's based on an inheritance Veil playbook, so I don't think we've seen that much.
Mm-hmm.
The voice is when you alter your voice in order to give someone a command that is difficult to resist. You roll. It's a very dictatorial move for sure, because it's basically a very compelling voice. On a 10 plus, choose 3, and 17 choose 1, and the choices are they do as you ask. They do not deviate from your instructions. They are frightened, dismayed, or impressed.
That is a good one, especially given the circumstances you're in right now.
Mm-hmm. It's nice to get help from family. That's all I'll say.
What do we should probably roll for your start a session though, right?
Man, the thing is, given where she is, like, does it even matter?
I'm cool with that. I think we can just roll it out from what has happened last time, if you're cool with that. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, because like the 10 plus kind of already has happened. Yeah. There's a contract on me for sure. So I think we can say that You know what? Let's just roll with it having gone off, and I got a 10 plus. So I'll mark
That-
up 1 black mark.
That seems fair. And then Dantalion, do you have an advance?
No, I don't think I've got the gold for another advance.
Okay.
No, I don't.
If you get the gold through the session, you can always buy it at that point.
Cool.
But let us have you roll your birth move so that we can see a 10 or 11 again.
Yeah, let's. Oh, I've lost the. There we go. Yeah, that's a 9. So same as it ever was. So yeah, you get to ask me one of the questions from the list.
Hmm. We've already got your memories. We know why you're summoned. Let me ask you this. And this can be, it can be a real statement or it can be a statement of how you feel, but what can you do to gain a measure of acceptance?
That's a good question. I think, or certainly, Dantalion believes that if they can show that they are more than just, this creature that they were summoned as, then people might accept them more.
Okay.
Whether that is true or not, is anyone's guess. But
no, I like that. I like that it gives us a sense of who you are. Let us come then to Damsa. Do you have an advance to take?
I because I missed last week, I assumed I would come back with several days having passed, and I might have earned some gold, but I get the feeling that hasn't happened.
No, you've got enough time because they took time to gig.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So if you want to roll, and that'll determine kind of the money that you get from that, and then we'll look at other things.
Okay. So is that? I'm just looking for the right move.
It's just we're just kind of custom doing it.
Okay. So if I just roll 2D, and just roll cold.
Well, no, you get to say what emotion are you doing?
Oh, I see. Oh, fair enough. Okay.
Like your power would be a great one because it's a +2.
I know it would, and I would then spike it. I think Damsa is sad at the moment because he's discovered that he has an apprentice in theory, but Opal stole him and then got them into a position where they got injured. I mean, that's just not right. So I think I will roll with sad. So +1. Let's see. Oh, that's a whole 4.
That is a whole 4. You end up with 1 coin, a single coin, and it is back-breaking labor.
Yeah,
and
I've been
it is
cleaning out some very, very shitty sewers.
And it is that you get shortchanged, that the system eats you up and spits you out there. So
now, I that does mean I have 2 gold.
Yes.
Now I think that this is my second advance, which would cost me 2, wouldn't it?
No, your first advance is free. Your second advance costs you 1, and then it goes up by 1 each time.
Right. Then this is in fact I think my third then, because I'm sure I spent a gold before.
Yeah.
So I think I was checking these out. I tell you what, can I find out what happened last time before
Absolutely,
I make a choice?
you can absolutely think. Don't forget, when you level up with an advance, you get a new spell if you're a magic user, or a gear pick if you are not. So that is an advantage. So Arklo, why don't we hear your version of the events from last time,
Okay.
from Arklo's perspective?
Yeah. So from what I can recall, I did my gigging. Oh yeah, and that kind of showed that I was a bad person because I took more money in order to shift the sun away from a poor neighborhood, which made them very cold and stuff like that. But I needed that cash money. And then after that, I went on the prowl to hunt another angel, which I found. And then we killed each other. Oh, no, wait. I killed myself trying to kill it, but it didn't die. It was mostly killed, but not all the way killed. It was 3/4 killed, maybe. And then it flew away, and I didn't like that. And I got an additional scar. And so my Odin fantasy is coming true. I have a heart scar, and I have an Odin eye scar. So this is just an alternate telling of the Odin story, basically at this point. I just need a raven. Maybe my sword can turn into a raven at some point.
Ooh.
And I recovered. I took a job from the person who healed me, which was a ostensibly evil person that was known from Dantlin. And they told me to go kill a woman. And at first I was okay with that, but then I was not okay with that because she ended up being one of the wizards who I now no longer remember because I erased that memory. But she was there when we messed with the sky and did bad things. But I deleted that because I didn't like it. And then instead, I tried to trick that creature into believing that she was dead by pulling some like time juices from the future where she was dead into this time. So then that creature would be like, oh, she must be dead. And I don't remember how successful that was.
You were successful, except that's where you got the eye scar.
Oh yeah.
Was that one?
That makes sense. That's totally Odin-ish.
And just to clarify, when he says this creature, he means this petty god, Grimfinger, that Dantalion had taken him to, who assigned him this. So he did this spell to fool a god of death. So there we go. So just that is out there.
I am hugely relieved to find that time juice is a thing.
Well, I don't know if it was juice, but it was I think it was literal time that I took from the future and inserted it here. I don't have a word that's good for that.
I like time juice. It's going to be with me for a while. So, Opal, what was your version of the key events from last time?
Well, given that Opal did her thing, which is to tell her friends to feck off so she can do her own thing, most of what she did kind of didn't intersect with everything else, but it's a lot of her past mistakes and sins coming home to roost. She had a lovely, semi-ambiguous chat with her apprentice, Open Evening, where she basically said, look, shit's about to happen. You might get an offer of some other thing, and it's up to you to choose, whatever. I'm not going to push you in any direction, et cetera, et cetera. And a bunch of failed rolls bit me in the ass, a bunch of choices. Basically, I might be misremembering some bits, but I remember Lowell, you asked where did I keep the body of Soft Sky. I sent him back to his family, and soon after that, there were rumors of, hey, the High Navigator has gone sick. The entire house is on lockdown. Militias are looking for this specific person who delivered the body. So back in the corner, she had to force a meeting with Song Cullen, who is now all quite chipper about this opportunity that's been given to him, to the point where he doesn't even care about his big rivalry against Opal, because she bigger fish to fry. Apparently, she's not big enough for him, and he has better things to do. So as kind of a last resort, Opal decided to look into her one last contingency plan, which involved the enchantment that she had Arklow made, which was a listening device that she knew that the guild leader was going to keep on him. So she was going to listen in and see if there was a way to finally enact this, taking down the guild leader plan that she proposed to Song Cullen. Another failed roll happened. So when she listened in, it was the guild master talking to his daughter Blooming Shade, and talk about how, no, you're right, no, Opal Ocean, she's become a bit of a threat. I'm gonna pull out the assassination orders on her. No, so that's we're gonna need to do that. So back to the corner, no one else to turn to. Opal turned to her darling sister Ella Vickers. Well, no, Opal said she was gonna do a thing, and Ella's like, no, I can help you, just that friend of yours who had the book, you kind of promised that to us, so we'll help you if you give the book. And Opal's like, yeah, sure, because she has no scruples.
And then Dantalion, what is your recollection of what happened?
In keeping with Dantalion's general being, my memories of last time actually incredibly fuzzy, and I'm not sure why. But no, I remember, taking the fallen Arklow to Grimfinger.
Yeah, after you talked to that mangy
yes, the
freelance apprentice cat.
Yes, the apprentice cat, who I was trying to find more about the magical creatures within the city in general, and vampires in particular. I learned that they come from somewhere overseas, is a sort of magical tradition, shall we call it that, from one of from the mainland,
right, which involves combining an angel and a demon.
Indeed. So yes, we met with Grimfinger. I kind of agreed to help him out with what he needs, which is basically to persuade people to start worshipping him. So I did a bit of
little more general than that, actually.
Yes,
to agitate people that they need to rise up against the High Navigator.
That's it. Yes.
Take this opportunity, and so you had a good time going around and stoking those fires.
Yep, indeed.
So I think that's sort of everything. Damsa, what have you been up to over the last couple of days?
I think that I have been literally scraping out frozen turds from sewage tunnels, because that seemed like the safest place to be after the vampire threat was revealed. And I guess that what Damsa is thinking is he still has to get the page of the previous Master Librarian, Chief Librarian, to the top of the Central Spire. But he just doesn't know how to do that right now. He's at a bit of a loss.
Okay.
So I think he's probably looking for the three caballeros here, not knowing any of this. So yeah, I think he's back to needing help, and he does want his apprentice.
Absolutely. I think if no one objects, we will pull the four of you together for an initial scene, perhaps not at Opal's apartments, but perhaps another place set up as a fallback position. And as you are heading over there, Damsa, you will start hearing on the streets that the High Navigator has made a public appearance on his balcony, fit and in the peak of health, and has declared a new era for the city. So that happened. So, Opal, what is your fallback location?
Who? I had a few ideas. Oh, I should note, as part of my advancement, I took on some hirelings. I can say they're kind of like, they're not the people I have left over. They're, I think, the people my sister gave me. So we'll flesh out exactly what that means in a moment. But
sure.
I think then Opal's fallback position is it's a tannery. So it's gonna smell absolutely disgusting. Yeah, it's a tannery that is like, it's at the bottom definitely of one of these city blocks. In fact, like I can't imagine, it's like its own tiny island. It's connected to the main city by these like chains and this bridge. So like it's a bit isolated, but they really didn't want they want to build this place as far away as they can as possible while still being able to use it. But it's one of those like little businesses she has on her spreadsheet that are like, just consistent. It never grows, it never stagnates. It's always room for leather in a medieval fantasy city. I'm sure we can spend 20 minutes figuring out where they got the leather from in a city on the water. But yeah, I think it's this small, like 3-story squat building out in the waves.
That smells of urine.
It smells of smoke, so many things.
Lots of runoff from it. It's probably a whole little neighborhood of them. And so you are there. Dantalian, you look the same when you arrive. Damsa, you probably look a little muddier. We'll call it mud. And Arklo, when your friends see you this time, what will they notice about the change in you?
I got my Odin scar, and I'm probably looking pretty haggard. Although maybe it's like a weird mixture of like, because I'm not harmed, so I think maybe I'm like an odd mixture of strength, but like also looking messed up.
And that simmering anger, because you're still spiked on mad too.
Yeah, I was being toyed with by a god. How dare.
And so the four of you can meet up in the back room of this tannery. You hear the sound of scraping and stretching outside. These are probably some of your best customers out here, Damsa.
Yes, I think it probably is. And so getting a quiet, discreet space for this conversation won't be difficult. And I think I go from a look of complete shock at Arklo. What happened to you?
And I explain everything, including the juices.
If you squeeze juice out of the future, it'll be dry when we get there, you idiot.
Well, my current problem is what's happening right now.
Yeah, so why don't we all lay out everyone's current problems out here, so then we can figure out how we can solve at least some of them.
Well, you've all heard about the High Navigator. It's obvious what's happened to him, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I thought I was doing them a kindness, sending them back their boy. But
If we killed the High Navigator, who would take over?
Well, as you may recall, that's up in the air. That's what all these people who are agitating right now are starting to fight about.
well, it doesn't matter at the moment, given that right now in their hierarchy and all this high navigator nonsense, I've inadvertently inserted a vampire thrall in them. So really, whoever takes over is still gonna fall into the influence of Song Cullen. So we just killed the High Navigator. This confusion will probably continue, but he'll certainly won't be stymied by that.
Do we know if that old legend that if you kill the Maker, you kill all the vampires?
Well, I wouldn't say no to killing him.
Well,
sorry.
Go on.
I was going to say, I suspect it might not be quite so easy as all that. Though, I suppose at least killing him would mean that he would not be able to manipulate them anymore.
Yes, we'll just have a rowdy bunch of rudderless vampires. It's probably a bit easier to clean up than having one of them in the helm.
How could we find out if that story is true? Because D'Antalio, with the best will in the world, your memory's not encyclopedic, is it?
No, that is true. It may... I am basing this on what I've learnt. There is a process by which vampires are created, but the essence that is put inside them, I think, is more important than any bond to one particular creator. As I say, I could be proven wrong, but...
Damsa, do you want to roll your Slayer?
I'm just wondering about that. I didn't know whether it was that broad, but
I like it.
Okay, then let's do that thing. And I will roll with mad.
That seems fair.
So +1. Oh, hang on. What did I do then? Oh, sorry. I submitted not reroll. I'm already too excited. That is 7, 8.
8. So let us take a look at the Slayer.
On 7 to 9, you were given possibility, but not certainty.
If, as Dantalion has said, they are made up of an angel and a demon, and that is sort of what is magically powering them, killing the lead vampire won't necessarily fix that situation, as that energies will go out. But if you can find some way to split or separate that magic, that may have a cascade effect.
Kill the angels, save the navigator.
Well, that what I mean is in the essence of the demon and angel that is in that lead vampire, if you can split that.
Can my sword do that?
We don't know yet.
Let's try it.
Yeah, Opal will ask that question. Can your sword render all that meaningless or full? I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, we want a glass half full of meaning.
At the very least.
I don't know. How will we find that out? Could I study to see?
Sure. Go ahead and roll with your +1 from your spiked anger.
Oh, yes. Oh, well, ceaseless studies is the +1 forward one.
Oh,
where I
that's right.
risk stuff. But
Yeah.
what about things speak and I ask the sword? Because one of the questions is, for what purpose were you created?
Sure.
So maybe that will apply, and then I can use my.
It's a good move because it doesn't have a nasty hard move fallback. So
+1. I'll add a little tick here. 7, 8.
8. So on a 7 to 9, you get to ask 2.
So so yeah, first question is, for what purpose were you created?
Well, you made it. You made it to kill angels.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. It's
But can it do that?
Yeah, it can kill angels. That's what it's there for.
Okay.
Bib believes 100% that it can kill angels.
But can it do the thing that we want, half killing something else?
Well, that's a different question.
Yes.
Just before you ask that question, I've got a scroll that will frighten angels. Is it possible I could frighten the angel out of the High Navigator and then you could kill that bit of it?
That'd be cool.
It couldn't hurt.
All the evidence suggests it could.
Well, yeah, there is that, yes.
No, I'm assuming that the sword can know all of this stuff, so I want to ask it, what does it wish I would do? Is that like a thing that it wants me to try?
It wishes that you would go to the center of the city, to the high towers. Because if you do that, that will be such a thing that will call the angels out. They will have to come to you. And
Okay.
then the sword believes that it can take care of it all. Even if it's not by your hand, someone else will pick it up.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, one angel before was a little bit hard.
The sword says you were unprepared. Now you know better.
Right. Okay. So I think I like go into this like reverie with the sword, and then when I come out, I'm just like, I don't know, but it's worth a shot.
And everyone is filled with confidence. Let me ask Dantalion during this conversation how you're feeling, and also you have heard your friend Arklo has made a promise to a god, and then crossed them. What are you feeling?
That's a good question. I think I think he's concerned because he thinks that that Grimfinger is likely to find out in time, though I don't think he has helped Grimfinger. He does not feel like bound to enforce his will for him.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
It's like that could come back to bite him, but it's not my job to do the biting. So,
and about all this angel demon splitting things that they're talking about.
Yeah, that sounds like certainly in the terms of these in terms of these vampires, it sounds like a good idea. This doesn't sound like this whole vampirism process doesn't sound right as far as Dantalion is concerned.
All right. So what is your next step?
Opal, can your sister get us in?
I thought you didn't trust my sister.
I don't, but we're in desperate straits. We have unleashed a vampire horde on the city. And though it's a grubby, miserable, dirty, shitty place, it's the only miserable, shitty, dirty place I call home.
Well, I'm sure there'll be plenty of places who can use your services, Damsel. Shouldn't be too hard to find. Well, you're in luck. I've already ahead of you. I'm already way ahead of you. I've talked to my sister. She may hide certain things from me, but family's a fairly strong bond. I'm sure she can get us close to the High Navigator.
Then let's do this thing.
So what I'm hearing is the plan is not to go after Song Cullen, not to go in after the scholars, but to go into the household of the High Navigator and do your darndest there. Am I right on that?
I may have misunderstood. I thought the Navigator and the Scholars were in a similar location.
No, they are not.
And it's going to the central spire, which will trigger an angel incoming.
Right, but that's what the sword wants. The sword wants that.
Do we think it would suck the vampire, the angelic bit of the vampire? More questions than answers.
More questions than answers.
Yeah,
If you could find a way to lure Song Cullen, certainly that's a possibility.
I think what Opal figures that the way to lure Song Cullen would be to attack the thing that's made him stop paying attention to Opal, which is having control over the High Navigator. I think that will be Opal's thinking. To go after the High Navigator, that would draw him out. He's already a cocky piece of shit, and as it is, so hopefully will draw him out, and then our cloak will do its thing. The sword will do its thing. That's what Opal's thinking.
All right. So, Opal, you will contact your sister.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll do this, and then I'm going to go around and see if anybody has anything they want to do, side scenes or prep scenes while this is happening. You go to see your sister, and she's like, "So how can I help you? What is it that you need?"
We're about to do something daring and ridiculous, and certainly the city won't be safe. Won't be the same after it. Don't worry, I know what price I have to pay to yourself. And, well, don't worry, I'm quite willing to pay that. All I need is for you to use whatever you can to get myself and my companions as close to the High Navigator as possible. In the chaos, well, certain things could get lost, certain people could get waylaid. I'm sure your group would be very interested in one of my companions. He'll be there. And you can do whatever you want to him.
Wait, what? You want to get close to the High Navigator? And
okay, Ella, do you remember that time when we thought that? Well, okay, I say we. I thought that I saw land out to the west. Do you remember that? It's this is only just a tiny bit more outlandish. I mean, yes, I know we got stuck on that dinghy for like a week before we were rescued, but this is different. For one thing, there's a lot of people around here. We're not gonna be stranded in the ocean, and look, it's all gonna be on me this time. I mean, okay, yeah. Last time I convinced Mom, it was you convinced me, but
there's a world of difference between saying things so you don't get a birch across your backside and going to, from what you're saying, murder the High Navigator.
Look, we're not looking to murder the High Navigator. We're okay. All right, I'll tell you this because you're my sister and I trust you. Look, things might have happened that may have made the High Navigator into a vampire, and part of it's probably my fault, and I have to clean that up. Okay.
Okay, don't make up stupid stuff. If you have something to whatever, if you're going to say dumb things, let's have you roll sway.
It's last time I rolled sway against her, things got weird.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, they got really weird. Okay, how am I feeling? I don't know. I'm not trying to convince her of anything. I'm clearly thinking this is just family. I'm honestly mentioning that childhood story actually making Opal feel a bit joyful. Just like, hey, it's a nice bit of levity. It's all been doom and gloom in the past couple of days. It's nice to reminisce with Sis. And that is a 12. Wow. That a success? What?
You can see that she's kind of teetering on the edge. What is it that you offer from the pick on sway to get that going?
I know I have that move that lets me punt this up to a higher power.
Yeah.
Put a good word them in the right places.
Do you want to?
Kinda. I mean, it will make things easy for sure. Yeah. I mean, I could also take the other route of owe them a future debt because this is the last session. I either way, I think here's what Opal says, and I think I'm gonna say promise to put them in a good word of the right places. I think Opal says, okay, I won't say dumb stuff. Ella, you're in a position that Mom would say is incredibly rare, which is that, and she would say this. She would say that you're in a position to help me out, which, she likes to say that something like, oh, my dear darling Cecilia would never be caught in a position like that, but I'm in a position like that right now. I need your help.
Oh, that's all I wanted to hear.
No, you get this once.
The magic word.
Please.
There we go. We'll cut away from that. Arklow, Opal says she's going to go and talk to her sister and make arrangements for you to get in to somehow see the High Navigator. What are you doing in the meantime?
Maybe I'm preparing a spell that will reinforce the blade in a manner that will make sure to hurt vampires.
Sure. Are you starting by going somewhere and or where you are right now and drawing the mana so you have some of that to support you?
Sure. Yeah, sounds like a plan. And this is all for vengeance sake. Yeah. Or actually, I like the idea of like even my sword is like feeding off the anger, kind of like I'm in this madness loop So I'll
Yeah.
add another spike to that.
Roll with a +1.
Ooh, that's 11.
That is an 11. So you generate a mana, no problem. There's lots of it. There's lots of sort of foul energies in this area that you can draw on and pull into yourself. And then you want to do something to boost your sword, to give it
Yeah, some quality that would hurt vampires in some way.
that sounds like high wizardry to set that up.
Yes. Let's see. So +1 again. Oh, that's a 10.
You get to choose the drawback. What is
Oh.
with you guys? Did you save up all your successes for this session? Is that
Yeah.
it? Because if that's the case, you're going to have a lot of successes.
Well, then, yeah, we'll see what happens when I go up against these vampires. So, like,
Fair
I can kill you. I want.
What's the drawback?
Oh, maybe. I like the idea of it attracting angels no matter what. It attracts the attention of a notable foe.
So is that your pick? It attracts the attention of a notable foe.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
And then, do I know?
Contracted is made.
Yeah, yeah. What could possibly go wrong? What should I write for the effect?
I think we'll have you pick that when we get to the scene. I'm going to let you be
Okay.
flexible about that.
Okay,
How does that sound?
sounds good.
Dantalion, while Opal is going and making these arrangements, what are you doing?
I think because Dantalion has, knows some faces in high up places, I think that he is going to just generally be asking around a bit about what's going on at the High Navigator's Palace, and generally just trying to pick up a bit of the rumor and gossip about the sort of recent changes.
Sure. Let's have you read the world.
Sure thing. I forgot to say what state I was rolling with.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's actually going to be his new one of power, because he realizes that I suppose it's he's putting on an air of confidence and command, and seeming generally not necessarily like intimidating people and stuff, but just he's doing that proper like full on confident and commanding persona sort of thing, so kind of people trust him, and that's a total of 11.
So I'm going to tell you what. We're going to do this a little more broadly. I'm going to give you 2 questions. And if you want, you can use one of those to make a declaration about the situation.
Sure thing. So yeah, I think one of the declarations I'm going to, or rather, I think the declaration I'm going to make is that since the High Navigator's recovery, a lot of his immediate guards and personal staff have been replaced. No one's quite sure why, but it's that there have been some changes.
Some of them have been sent out to find who was involved with the death of his son. Those people have been sent off to that task, so there's some legitimate reason for doing that. Plus there's all this anti-navigator agitation going on that obviously going to have to draw off. Okay. That seems more than reasonable. Just a small cadre by the navigator. What is your question then?
My question is, I'm actually gonna see who. There's obviously been a lot of conflict over this, but who currently is the person best placed to take over from the High Navigator?
The figure who's probably best placed to take over for the High Navigator is the High Navigator's ex-husband, who was cast out a while ago, based on some political machinations that happened, and they are still kind of drifting around and have managed to stay here in the city and garner some power. That's the one that probably has the best shot right now, given the connections that they have. Again, it's still chaotic because this has happened so suddenly. Does that seem like a reasonable answer?
Yeah, no, that sounds great. Cheers.
Okay. Damsa, what are you doing while Opal is doing this?
I think we see Damsa in his sanctuary. And I think at the beginning we described the fact that a potent and damaged arcane device, which may be alive and which guards the Tome of Secrets, is behind some bricks in the wall of this vaulted, clean sewer chamber. And so I think what we see is Damsa tentatively chipping away the mortar and removing the bricks and looking inside. And in there, we see the tome, but there's a kind of arcing blue sparks in front of it. And I think that Damsa reaches through, believing that these protections will not harm a librarian, and puts his hand on the book and asks, are we doing the right thing?
And does this seem like gazing to the abyss, or what do you want to do here for this?
I think it's either read the world or gaze into the abyss. I think that probably
let's do read the world. It's nice and
I think
open.
it's more general.
Because you're taking a general approach to this. Let's have you roll. What are you going to roll that with?
I am shit scared, so I have to roll with fear.
Okay. That lets you take power down by one. That's
yeah.
Nice.
So 2d6 minus 1. Oh, that's still a 7.
That's still a 7.
When you try to piece the illusion of the material world, search for information, or recall something you may already be privy to, roll. On a hit, the MC will tell you something new and interesting about the current situation. On any roll, the MC will ask a question or two. Answer them. On a 10 plus, the MC will give you good detail. On 7 to 9, the MC will give you an impression.
I think that all of this has been written in the book. I think you see that. I mean, I think you see the changes. You see the tomes. You see the pages there. You know. You see the time you were with Arklow. You see the angels coming to fight. You see Opal's fall from grace. You see that fight with Song Cullen. You see all of that, and you know that these things that the world is right, that the book knows. Book's not going to show you the next pages, but the book knows, and it is, this is as it is.
Somebody in the chat mentioned the Bene Gesserit earlier. I think that there is a place that I cannot see,
Yeah.
for I am not the Kwisatz Haderach.
I think that is perfect.
Not yet.
Yeah. Do you take the book with you?
That's an interesting question. I'm not sure that I dare leave it behind.
That's true, because if you have to run to the center,
And if I have to pull the pin and open it,
yeah,
I need to have it with me.
absolutely. Leandro, Opal, your sister sends essentially a note that you're to meet at a specific place. There'll be carriages, a carriage for you and your companions, and you'll be taken to get in to where the High Navigator is.
Sounds grand.
Are you comfortable with that?
Yes. Yes. I think I am.
In that case, then, assuming that all of you follow along, you get to an area that's closer to the nicer parts of town where they actually have nice solid bridges and pass through and stuff. You do have to go around because that cholera outbreak has claimed a couple more neighborhoods, and that situation seems to be deteriorating. There are also some riots going on in certain parts of town, but you will be brought to the spot, and this black carriage will roll up, and the coachman will indicate for you to get in, and you'll be taken to uh, uh, the designated location. And let's take our break here, and then we'll come back.
congratulations in person, David, for your first professional RPG gig.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
I think I must have missed that, David.
Yeah, no, it's I mean, I've only just got like the commissioning stuff through, so it's but yeah. I'll be working just on a little bit for that.
Working on what?
I don't think you can say at this point, can you, David?
Oh,
I mean, I don't think there's any NDAs or anything like that involved, but I might save it for after. Yeah.
Fair enough. That makes sense.
I paid my 2 gold and taken as an advance the possibility of opening the book, and picked up a weapon, 4 harm, messy, unwieldy, the nature of which I'm still working through.
Okay. We got a lot of messy, dangerous harm rolling around here on the table at this point. So, the 4 of you are in this vehicle, and it will roll through the icy streets. There probably are a couple of points at which they have to kind of stop and make sure that nothing slides, and it's definitely cold. And though you've moved from it being sort of dirty and narrow to wider pathways and nicer layout, and you will realize that you're definitely going towards the center of the city. That you are definitely headed that direction, and you can certainly feel that damsa the closer that you get to that.
We should have gone through the sewers. We shouldn't be up here. This is in plain view. Have you set us up, Opal?
No, I would have any reason to lie to any of you.
it's actually quite clever, hiding in plain sight. I hear about it all the time.
And I think Dantalion currently appears to be a sort of aristocratic-looking young man with sort of like neatly dressed black hair and a sort of frilly shirt and tight trousers, and says, I spend most of my time doing it. So obviously it does still have the flaming eyes, but
And to be honest, Damsa, I don't know if any of us would be up to going through the sewers, given where we were just staying.
Well, to be honest, my presence here rather ruins that disguise, gesturing to Dantalion.
Nope. Arklo, you'll, as you're moving up here, you get this weird sense of deja vu. Like you've been here before, but you can't quite place it.
Does anyone
Anything?
else have some deja vu?
I don't have deja vu. This is the approach we took when I got you in there.
Oh.
Is that the deja vu we're referring to?
Arklo clearly, you see him, and then it's like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. I just kind of nod like I'm drunk at a party and you said something interesting.
Are you going to be okay? This plan is kind of riding on you and that sword.
Oh, well. You can always count on the sword.
Of course, what that means is that feel free to not count on Arklo. It's the subtext of this.
Well, the sword is mightier than my body at this point.
Yeah, I don't think Opal says that, but I think she'll get the implication. Just kind of glance at the sword.
And you've certainly moved into a beautiful area, and you'll recognize that you are in the lines and stuff just outside the navigator's palace, essentially just on the outside of the library and the core. And yes,
as we're approaching this point of no return, I'm really concentrating on Arklow, because this is almost like this is a different person, and I'd like to probe him, because I am, I was kind of banking on Arklow. Arklow's kind of a wild card, but he's a potent one. And if he's just freaking out here, I'm going to roll with fear again to probe him.
Let's have you roll that.
6. He is a closed book.
A 6. The carriage comes to a stop, and the door will open, and damsel, you will see someone you recognize, but you've seen them in the distance, like because you've seen a lot of death in the sewers, and so you just know them because of that. But it is Arklow and Dantalion who actually recognize this person, like fully, not just that impression. And you will see Grimfinger there, and he says, "I don't believe we've had the pleasure, young lady," and turns to you, Opal.
No, I don't believe we have. To whom do I owe this pleasure of meeting then?
Arrangements, bargains, trade-offs. You needed to weigh in, and your sister and her superiors called in favors. And I volunteered since I already was acquainted with you and yours, and Master Arklow here just finished a task for me.
Oh, were you in some way responsible for his current state? Because it's a concerning look for sure.
His current state? Whatever is the matter with Arklow?
In the sense that Arklow is still moving, we have Grimfinger to thank.
Oh, well, that seems to be... Oh, I don't, that's what you say, so give me a second. My mind just went blank. Oh, well, that's very kind of you, and I'm sure Arklow held up his end of the bargain.
Of course, I always do.
Of course. I have certain feelings about the things that you are doing. I am for them because I like things to be tidy and kept in rows and orders and columns, and what is going on now is outside of that.
The city has become outrageously messy. I agree. It's all running through our fingers, isn't it? It's messy.
Yes. Well, I will get you as far as I can, and I will take you a person who will be able to get you the audience that you seek.
Well, that would be delightful. Give my regards to my sister, and next time you see her.
He stops and he goes, "All right, I will." And he will lead you through, and you can feel him extend his cloak and his influence, and walk the steps through the wardings and the guideposts and the traps and all of that circulate here in the palace, and he will will bring you up until you get to these chambers that you see, and there are lots of people here. This is where people come to petition the High Navigator. This is where people come to speak, and there's lots of things going on right now. There's lots of ministers coming in and out. There are fewer guards than you would have expected, which strikes you as odd, but it's something that Dentalian had mentioned to you. But you will be brought there, and Grimfinger will say, "I'm going to leave you now, but I'm hoping that I can count on you."
Oh, Duff's a hat. Duff's saying it.
I've just realized that because of my piercing gaze, I get to ask Arklow a question even on a fail.
Yes.
And that is, what is Arklow really feeling?
Confused.
Oh, bugger. I was wanting something reassuring.
Well, yeah, I think it's mostly confusion because he ripped that memory out of his head, right? So it's all just like...
And I think I'd take an opportunity to just drift back next to Dantalion and say, I'm worried about Arklow. You know, are we relying too much on him?
He has been through a lot, but I am sure he is able to cope. And as he says, the sword remains regardless.
Yeah, but is he in control of the sword, or is the sword in control of him?
Oh, that's an entirely different question, and one I would not like to dwell too long upon.
Shit.
And this person who's clearly senior positioned he has wandered through these crowds speaking to people, and he drifts over to where you are at, and he says, "Which one of you is Opal?"
I will step back and gesture to Opal.
That's fair. I think Opal will just step forward and nod.
"My name is Hundus. I am a minister for the High Navigator, one of the few that remains, and I am now going to take you in to be presented to the High Navigator."
Well, we're certainly looking forward to it. It's an honor for the High Navigator to deign to speak to us.
He believes that you're here bearing a trade contract from the Far East.
I've traveled long and wide, and there are so few in our city who have had the experience that I've had from the Far East. And I believe what I've negotiated will benefit our city greatly. And I hope to convince the High Navigator of its worth.
See him kind of look around, looks at Damsa, looks at Arklow. He's like, "I will take you to the gate to be shown in, and then I have other things I must attend to." So
Of course,
that is,
of course.
yes. And he does move you through over to the grand doors of the palace. You can see the markings of the librarians here. You can see those around, and the door will open, and you will see there's a swath of courtiers, people kind of milling about, talking with various people. there's a figure who steps forward to lead you down this carpet way towards the High Navigator. And the thing that will catch your eye, Damsa, is there are lots of books around here. Books on shelves and things like that. Clearly a display of ostentatious wealth and power here. All of them kept behind glass, like doors and things, but they're in shelves and bookcases such that you can see them, but you can't actually touch them. Tell me, Opal, when you come in here, we've got this big room arching. We're in end of Star Wars room territory, okay, with tapestries and people milling about and a figure on the sort of the throne. There is a captain's wheel that is turned sort of like this, that's flat, that's sort of the symbol of the navigator, and there are other arcane implements for the managing the city that are there. And tell me, what catches your eye in here that you're like, we're going to need to take care of that?
I see soft sky.
Yeah. He is standing there. He is in a high collared, elegant shirt. The time had worn away at him with the alcoholism and the drinking. All of that is gone from his face, and it has a youthful complexion to him.
I think I kind of want to add a quick conversation with Damsa. I think
Sure.
as we're kind of being shepherded and I see soft sky, I just like whisper to him like, Dr. Orchard, that's where you'll find Open. I know you have a way of slipping through things. Just in case you manage to slip away through this one. That's where she is.
You're a good friend, Opal, though you pretend not to be.
And Damsa, what does the High Navigator look like?
I think this is a man in his 70s, but the picture that we've had of him so far is this frail, ill individual. But this is a man in his 70s who looks like he runs 5 miles every day. This is a man in his 70s who seems to be to have a grip on the tiller of fate.
Absolutely. He is settled there, and he is looking, and he has his arm up, and he's speaking with people with a deliberate thing. The courtiers are unsure what to make of him. They are all kind of coming up and trying to talk to him, but also kind of falling back, like this is not the navigator that they know, and they're certain that some sort of magical doctor has been brought in, and maybe this is all a cunning plan, and maybe all of their plots are here to be revealed, and there's something awful about to happen. They're all very, very nervous. Everyone is on edge here. Let me ask you then, David. You mentioned that his regular guards are gone. Who is it that you see here that are the replacements?
Yeah, I think the guards that we do see here are they're not dressed in necessarily the more formal like city guard uniforms or anything like that. They've kind of got that look a bit of like kind of French cavalier type things. They're dressed quite well with like minimal armor and stuff, but with sharp blades at their belts. And yeah, they've all got particularly because obviously these are the extras. They've all got the needlessly sharp cheekbones and piercing eyes that we would associate with vampiric infiltrators.
And I think Opal will see several of her former associates who have passed away over the last few weeks that are there in those uniforms. And Arklow, what is it, the thing that tells you that the librarians have a presence here and they're waiting for all of this to go down? Is it a feeling of magic? Is it the door shutting? Is it angels in the rafters? What is it?
Maybe they're because they're like steampunky angel things, right? So maybe they're like humming. There's
Like you
like a
can
low
hear that
humming.
hum in the distance that you know that your friends, the ones that you want to have come and visit you, are outside.
Yeah, the ones I want to visit. Yeah.
And so the four of you will make your way through. The doorman will come up and uh, go this to introduce you, and the high navigator will turn and will look at the group of you, and as the person who's going to introduce you is about to speak, the navigator says, "Oh, I already know them. There is no need to introduce them."
I think Opal kind of like just gives him a tired smile and says, "Well, I'm glad we can get the niceties out of the way then." And just kind of like steps forward again, away from the group.
Why don't you come here, Opal Ocean?
She'll come closer.
I think Damsa will step forward behind Opal and say, Opal doesn't stand alone.
Arkla, what are you doing? Are you staying back? You hanging back? Going forward?
Yeah, I'll go forward to back up Opal.
Okay. And what about you, Dantalion?
Yeah, I think I will likewise move forward. I might stay a little bit behind the others, just in case we get attacked from behind or anything like that. But yeah, he's going to broadly move with the others.
And you kind of walk forward so you're closer. And eventually, the navigator puts his hand up as if to say, "Stop."
Yeah, Opal will stop. But before he can say anything, she'll speak up and say, "So how's life treating you, High Navigator? Well, this new lease of life of yours."
It is well, but I owe that to you.
A lot of people owe me things these days.
Have you come to ask a boon then?
I've come to settle all debts. And frankly, High Navigator, you're just caught up in between those.
Well, we'll see. That in me, in my body, is the force and life of this city, and it will grow and flourish from here.
Have you looked outside your city, High Navigator? Whatever life you think is out there, it's eating itself alive. And quite frankly, whether you die or not, it'll just keep on eating itself.
Well, then, what are you going to do about it?
Damser looks one way at Arklow and the other way at Dantalion as to say, are we going to do this thing?
Hi, Navigator. Sad to say, you're not as important to what we have to do as you think you are. You're just the next step. So, and I think, I mean, it's okay for everyone. Opal's just gonna do it. She's just gonna like,
What are you gonna do?
get this going.
Okay. And how does that start?
She'll move forward, and she has counter's reflexes. So whatever's gonna happen, she'll get the first move.
Yeah.
And as she's moving, she's taking out her gun and she's pointing it, and she's right at the High Navigator's face and is pointing the gun at his forehead.
Do you pull the trigger?
Yeah. Let's
Okay.
do it. Let's just do it.
In that case, please roll neutralize.
All right. Okay. I think Ocean has felt a bit. Let me think. It's a bit powerful, sure. I don't know why she's feeling that, but like I think she's feeling powerful in the sense that this is all or nothing. This is it. Might as well get rid of all uncertainty by just doing it, and that's a 4.
That is a 4.
Amazing.
So you go running up there, and the High Navigator, again, like Song Cullen, is so fast. He's so fast. And it grabs that gun and it turns it and it pulls the trigger and it fires it into your chest.
Cool.
What damage does it do?
3 harm, ranged. I do have 2 armor.
Yeah, so it will throw you back, but it'll knock the breath out of you, but it doesn't kill you. So, Arklow, should I have you go next, or should I have the others go first?
I'm probably the slowest because I'm a wizard.
Okay, yeah, you're gonna see. So yeah, your strike rank is 3. I think that yeah. So, Damsa, let's have you go next.
I pull out of my jerkin my scroll of protection against angels.
Okay.
Brandish it with one hand, left hand, draw out the hidden ranged weapon with the other hand, and hoping that the protection to angels will at least discompose the navigator, I shoot the bastard.
Interesting. Okay. Let's have you roll neutralize.
With mad.
With mad.
+1. Ooh, 7.
So that is a 7. So on a 7, you generate 2 hold and you're going to take harm.
Do I take harm even though I'm using a ranged weapon?
Well, you've got a bunch of people around you.
Okay. I was kind of hoping that the protection might be more generic than that, but never mind. Okay. Okay, so I take harm and I get 2 hold to spend on I must inflict harm. That's the whole point.
Okay.
So 2 harm.
So you're going to inflict harm, 2 harm, and then what's the other pick?
Suffer little harm.
Suffer little harm. So if you're going to suffer little harm, I think that's going to those creatures who are nearby, those troopers, they come forward and they press at you, but that scroll does hold them back from getting their hands on you. But you are surrounded.
Okay.
And you do hit the High Navigator. There is that. What does this weapon look like again?
It's that hidden crossbow that comes out and kind of unfolds in the hand. 2 harm, ranged, concealed.
Yeah, so I think that catches him in the chest, and he'll kind of gasp back as that hits. What are you doing, Dantali? And you see these troops come, pressing in.
Yeah, so Dantalion's form shifts, and he is in their sort of their normal demonic form, and their claws elongate, and they are going to wade into the melee around Damsa, and start pulling these start striking at these soldiers and attempting to disperse them.
Absolutely. Then let's go ahead and have you do that. Battleborn, blah, 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 blah. Violent, forceful and messy. So I think you can deal with them like probably on equal terms with a gang here.
Sure thing. I'm going to be rolling this with power, I think, because, as I said, I think, Dantalion is perhaps inadvisably secure in their ability to take these creatures on. So that's an 8.
It's an 8. You still get to generate 2 hold.
Yep. So yeah, I will. I think I will inflict harm on them.
Okay.
And I think I will impress, dismay, or frighten my opponent.
And I think that you get in the way of them as they close in on Damsa, and claws are out, and you are cutting into them. How much harm do you do?
2 harm, AP.
Yeah. So you will drop 2 of this mob with that slash there, and you get their attention. They are impressed, and while Damsa has that protection thing up, they recognize that you are the threat to get through. You are also going to suffer 2 harm back.
Sure
armor
thing.
will apply.
Sure thing. I have 2 armor, so that's
So
I'm fine for the moment.
Bounce off. They're going to have to get themselves, have to pull everyone together to swarm in on you. Arklow.
I'm coming with my sword.
All right.
The prophet arrives.
So tell me what you're doing.
What I do is I draw prophet in a very like the original Star Wars pose above my head.
Right.
And then I fly at them with the blade and try to cut as many down, maybe on the opposite end of where Dantillion was.
Absolutely. Go ahead and roll with your mad at +1, and with neutralize.
Oh yeah, my last roll was a 10. So we'll see. Oh yeah, that's a 6.
That is a 6.
Can someone help?
Yeah, when you act to help or impede another player, say how you do it and roll.
The attention's been drawn away from me, I sense, towards Dantalion, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So I might be free to help.
Yeah.
If I unleash the power of the book in the form of my 4 wieldy, messy weapon. My hand arcs with the power of the book, and I wield it in a way that will support Arklow in anything he does.
Let's have you roll help or hinder.
Yeah, with what? I'm enjoying myself. I'm going to go with joy.
Brotherly love.
That's a 7.
That is a 7. Well, you're also going to take harm from this. But you do, as Arklow is about to get swarmed over because they're faster. Arklow is a wizard, so he's slow. He rolled low on the initiative, so he's drawing his blade out, and suddenly they're on him, and you were pulling this out, and that energy is crackling around. Arklow, what are your 2 picks here?
I would like to inflict harm twice.
Like to inflict harm twice. And how much harm do you do?
I do I believe it's 3 harm. Let's see. Yeah, 3 harm, AP, dangerous.
Okay. So you will cut down 3 of these of this mob, but they are also going to cut at you and Damsa, and you're both going to take 2 harm.
So here's the thing. One of my picks for my weapon is
Yes.
for every 1 harm inflicted, you also heal 1 harm. 'Cause it's the only way I can heal now.
Oh, that's right. Well, besides taking scars and stuff like you did. So you inflict 2 and take 2. What does that look like, and how does that feel?
Yeah. So these are vampires?
Yeah, claws, swords, everything.
Yeah. So I think they like, since I have robes on and stuff like that, when I'm like spinning and doing the slashing with the sword and whatnot, I get like sliced open and then the sword jets into one of them. And I think like the sword like actually eats one of them, and you see it like go into the sword, and then the gold and the silver in my veins sort of like flare up over my skin, and then the wound like closes.
And you probably also cough up black blood as the sword has to kind of process out the demon portion and vomit that out of you as you're doing that.
Yeah.
Opal took that hit. You are up there. The High Navigator is up. Are you dueling the High Navigator?
Yeah, well, I would if I had anything else on me besides. Let's see. Could I also pull out my shotgun behind me? But we mentioned for it probably doesn't do jack against vampires. I was kind of hoping the Navigator would be distracted by this melee. But I think yeah, he's probably he still has my gun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm probably being backed towards where he was, which is the throne.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that'll give Opal a good enough view of the place. Can they quickly analyze and see what's happening? Or is okay, all right, cool. I'm a bit mad because this is the second time a vampire has decided to not get hit by my shots. They're just rude, you know. Okay, that's a 9. All right.
Ask 2.
Okay. What's my enemy's true position?
Well, Song Cullen's in the crowd.
Okay.
Puppeteering all this.
All right. Is he enjoying himself? He probably is.
Yeah.
Of course he is. So yeah, I see exactly where he is. Okay. Cool. Oh man, there's some good questions. I have to pick one. How is he vulnerable to me? You can say no.
I think one of the things that you have here is that you are up by the High Navigator's throne, and there are a lot of the implements of the Navigator here that are potentially dangerous magical things that are close at hand. You have no idea what they're going to do, but that may be your best bet at that point. Does that seem fair?
Yeah. I mean, if we're going to push Opal to finally do some magic stuff last session, so it seems like it.
And the High Navigator is up on you at that point, like turns and spins and is kind of pushing you back towards the throne, like putting you in the throne and killing you there is going to be the funniest thing. And you are being harried and pushed and separated from your companions right now.
Yeah.
We'll come back to you in a second. Damsa, you're in the midst of this scrum with Arklo and these vampires. You pull the book out. And what do you do?
Well, at the minute, I'm only channeling the power of the book, or perhaps the power of its protector. I really want to reserve opening it until I'm entirely certain what the best question to ask is. So I think that I will hurl some of this unwieldy, how's it described? Weapon, forearm, messy, unwieldy.
Okay.
I'm going to hurl that at the High Navigator.
Let's have you roll.
With power. Draw forth the book, and the book knows the way. And the way is the light, and the light is the harm. 8.
That is an 8. Generate 2 hold.
Am I in a position where he could do me harm?
Well, the harm you're going to take is going to be from other people around.
Okay. Okay. I will suffer little harm.
Okay.
But I will force the navigator to a new location. 1 hold, and the MC chooses the new location.
So it
I want
hits.
to buffet it away.
Yeah, hits near him, throws him back away, and that energy spikes out. And you will see there are, again, I described there are ministers and things around that have been kind of freaking out, and we'll see them go up like matchsticks as the energy hits them. This thing is messy, and there are bits and pieces everywhere from them. Let's come back to Dantalion. You've cut into these guard forces. Arklo's dealing with another set of them. You see Arklo getting wounded, and then that healing. Damsel lets loose with these energies you've never seen before, and Opal seated on the High Navigator's throne.
Cool. In which case, I think. Yeah, I think Dantalion turns to the other troops he's still engaging, and smiles and says, "If you flee this place now, you might still live to see another day. If you remain here in combat with me, I will destroy you."
Let's have you roll ultimatum.
And I'm going to go for power once again on that.
Sure.
That's a 9.
That is a 9. I think they will pull back, and they will grab for their pistols.
Cool.
Like, okay, let's not engage in melee, but we've all got these magical guns. Let's just put some of that in them.
Cool. And I think that's enough for Dantalion is going to just fly across them towards where Opal is.
Okay, so yeah, I think you can get up to the throne with on this action. Arklo, you see that that the other group is fortifying themselves with guns. They give Dantalion enough space, and they fly up to where Opal is at. What are you doing?
So they're going to go get guns?
The troops that were fighting him have stepped back to essentially draw their pistols out rather than go into melee.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for them.
Okay, so pull out from this group that you're fighting and fly over it to them.
Oh,
I like it.
yeah.
There's no attack of opportunity or anything like that. I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, like
I take a 5-foot step and then I swing.
Yeah.
Let's have you roll neutralize.
I use 2 of my actions. Okay. And I'm free of the madness that is overcoming me here.
Yeah. So now you can
So-
finally roll with the +2 and spike that out.
Yeah. Well, +2 is my joy here.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm joyful.
What are you?
I think I'm afraid of my sword, like taking over me, because I think that was the first time we've seen it eat like a person and then me throw up demonic juices.
It's like time juice, but more demonic. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a different kind of juice. And I think it's like we see Arklo's eyes like wide as his hand just sort of seems to be like moving of its own accord with the sword, like thrumming and humming and going for throats.
Absolutely. Let's have you roll.
Say a 9.
That is a 9. So let's look at that 7 and 9 result.
I want to inflict harm. Oh, I want to change a location. Like, so we're up high in this like cathedral-like area.
Well, they're on the ground of the cathedral, I mean, on the ground floor.
Yeah, I want to hit one of them so hard that it shatters like through like the glass windows. You know, like what are they called? That churches always have.
Stained glass windows?
Yeah. I want those to break.
Okay, only because I love the idea that if you swinging that sword, forcing them back, and a group of these vampires, and you will shatter out of these great wide, their sea pictures and pictures of the sea will shatter out there. And of course, when you get outside, there's some of them there that are left. And I think you will also hear that humming loud because the angels have been waiting for you.
Sounds good.
And I think that you're going to be at a disadvantage here at this point. I'm not going to do harm, but I think that you're in a position where you've got some bad stuff coming in. I think that brings us back to Opal.
Actually, if folks don't mind, I need to use the toilet. I'll be back in like 2 minutes.
Okay,
If that's
let's take a quick break, and we'll continue.
BRB.
Well, I could have spent both the whole to do the change of location if you want. I forgot that.
No, I like that. I'm taking, as I said, I'm taking your suggestion because it puts you in a much worse position. So yes,
Yeah, it's true.
I'm willing to go with that.
Wait, so now the person we were relying on to take care of our vampire problem is now up outside, where angels are coming.
With the vampires,
That's
it's fine.
with the vampire troopers, but not the head either of the head vampires.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, all right.
That's an accurate assessment of the situation.
I'm just tanking for you guys.
It's gonna kite the vampires around the location.
But everyone knows that wizards are tanks, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They draw all the aggro. That's what their job is. It's the.
So speaking of drawing aggro, Opal, what are you doing?
Yeah, just so I get this straight. Opal was on the throne. Dentalion's flying after her. She was just about to get attacked by the High Navigator. He got beat up.
Navigator got thrown back.
Yeah, and Arklo has just flown off through the windows.
Can Damsa shout at Opal, "Stay in that fucking throne"?
That's a fair comp, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think there is like a very short split second where Opal kind of like almost like relaxes into the throne, like, oh, this feels good.
Oh yeah, there's a tingle that you get from it.
Yeah. Can this be the moment where like her eyes and Song Collins just like kind of like meet? Is he gonna do anything?
He's moving through. You know, he's watching. He doesn't have to expend energy yet.
Yeah, I think Jesus, yeah, what do I have to do? Our ticket just left. I think
actually I take that back.
Of course.
I need to actually roll back a second. I think you'll meet eyes with Song Cullen, and you'll see Song Cullen kind of smiling, and then you'll see him kind of like clearly thinks something, like realizes something, and starts moving through the crowd towards you.
Oh, here's something I want to know. Where's Soft Sky?
He's close by you. Remember, he was the son of the High Navigator. Is pretty close.
Yeah. Is he doing anything?
Yeah, he's probably forcing his way through the crowd to get up and murder you.
Yeah. I think there's a moment there where Opal kind of like slouches into the throne. I think she's sitting exactly as what her picture is, the one I put in. Except she doesn't have the roses and the katana. That would have been really helpful.
Dantalion, protect her.
And I think she's almost kind of like just daring the two of them to come at her.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So what are you trying to do? What's your goal?
I think I hear Damsa, and I think Opal knows she can't do anything to them, so she is kind of like she's being the tank. She's the one drawing aggro. So for Dentalion or Damsa, for everyone else to do it, that's kind of like what she thought she was gonna do today anyway, since she's the least magical of them all.
So do we want to read this as divert, or is there something else you're intending?
Yeah. I'm not sure what else I don't think she has anything else. I don't think she has much left on her sleeve other than whatever implements are nearby to her. But I think this is a divert.
Let's have you roll.
Mm-hmm. Picked the wrong time to take a drink. I think this is
muted.
Yeah, I probably should have done that. Yeah, I think.
Does Opal have to do anything, or can Damsa step into that space?
I think to give you an opportunity, I think Opal is kind of like wants to do this. Just be the target.
Yeah,
and be fine.
divert offers you some things that you can hand off to other people. So it's kind of
Yeah.
a nice maneuver. I just want to make sure we give you an opportunity to make that pick.
Yeah. I think being on the throne and people yelling to protect her is making her feel a bit powerful. So I'm going to roll that. Throne feels nice. That is a 9.
Okay, pick 2.
All right. So I'm gonna your actions create an opportunity for you or someone else,
Okay.
and I'll be able to slip away.
Okay. So let's see. Damson wanted to do something. So let's do Damson, and then let's come back to Dantalion.
Yeah, if she slips away before I've done my thing, we're screwed.
Okay.
There are still some ordinary people, some courtiers here cowering near the door, I would predict.
Yeah, there people have run back to the main doors. There are people cowering behind the throne. I mean, there are a good 100 people in here. Minus the 5 you incinerated, and like 95 people in here.
Indeed. So I'm banking the fact they're slightly scared of Damser to begin with. But then he is going to declare to them, you see her upon the throne, and her true name is Navigator. And I will mark Opal in a dramatic way. So that is, I'm going to burn both the runes I have on her. Roll +2. And
Absolutely.
that is a 13.
What do you want to have happen?
I hold 3. The first thing that happens is that her forehead begins to glow in the shape of the navigator's wheel, and it blasts forth as if she is emitting that like a projector onto the wall for the people to see. And it will then recede into a tattoo. 1 down.
Okay.
2, I will have her take +1 forward right now.
Okay.
And I will communicate them without regard to distance or barriers. And I will say, now act the fucking part. And declare to the people, go protect the true navigator. Bring people, protect the true navigator.
And Opal, you'll feel that something has happened and there's power coursing through this. Even as you're kind of getting up, trying to get up out of this chair, you feel that crackle, like something is happening. Dantalion, you see that.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to use sort of the momentary distraction to close with Song Cullen.
Okay.
And I don't strike at him, but I'm going to kind of look him straight in the eye and say, you are a perverse little man, aren't you? It's very strange what you've chosen to do to yourself. I wonder if this will still even work. And I'm just going to sort of like put like a claw underneath his chin, and I'm going to attempt to use my absorb power, and I'm going to attempt to absorb the joy from him.
Okay.
My thinking being that this may be tied into how he works somehow. But let's see. So yeah, the way the move itself works is that when you draw on the emotions around you to name someone present. Technically, I think you tell me what I can absorb from them, but yeah.
I think leaving it vague until we roll here is fine.
Sure thing, yeah. So I think that this will. I think actually I'm going to go with Joy on this because I think he is actually genuinely fascinated by what Cullen has become. That's a 7. So
Choose 2.
choose 2. So yeah, I'm going to say I'm going to actually go with that they aren't fully aware of what I'm doing, and I don't spike out the emotion that I'm draining from them either. I may still do so if I drain enough boxes from them to fill mine up. But
So now that won't do anything to them then, because you're not picking something to affect them then.
No, I think the absorbing their emotion happens anyway.
Absorb all their marked boxes. Completely clear out or fill up their boxes on an emotion.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sorry. So yeah, no, I can choose that one instead of yeah. So yeah, I think they are aware, but I'll completely. So yeah, I think I am. Like I said, I think I'm going to try and affect their joy is what I'm going for, because I think that's the emotion that feels like it's most likely to be entwined with what they've become.
So you're pulling that out of them and not spiking it on yourself.
Yep.
And that is the thing. You felt this before when you encountered him. You will grab onto that joy, that love that is sort of broken, and you will rip that out of him. And keep it and keep a hold of it, and he staggers back, like his eyes go clear when you do that. And but you can see him kind of clutch at his chest, like there are things warring within him at this moment.
Awesome.
Let's come back to Arkla, let's see what you're doing.
I have decided that I want to be so you know that scene in Harry Potter with Dumbledore where he summons the fire like all around him? I want to do that.
You want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, and how are we doing that exactly?
High wizardry.
Okay, so you're trying to extend the power of your blade to push it further?
Yeah.
Okay. Then go ahead and roll with the mana spent.
Yeah, I got 0 mana. So we'll see what happens. Oh, it's a 10.
A 10? Look at you.
Yeah.
So what are you going to take as your drawback?
Either harm or I like this thing about destroying something I wanted to protect. I'll select that. That sounds cool.
Yeah, well, what did you want to protect?
That's a good question.
Oh, you can pick it. I'll decide for you. It's okay. You don't have to pick.
Okay.
Just say.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
I think you will do that. And as you pull that energy, the other spell you created, the time spell, collapses.
Oh no.
To draw that energy away. And somewhere Grimfinger has sensed her presence.
Oh no. That's a good move.
We will wipe from that, probably a look on her face looking up in terror as it comes for her. Let's come to back to Opal and then Damsa.
Yeah, so I wasn't expecting this.
Which should we do this, Damsa? Because you've got some things that are in play here.
I think it's important to know whether those ordinary people have run to get help. It's very well declaring a navigator. You need witnesses.
There are people who are watching the crackling energy around Opal, others that are fleeing, but you definitely have people who are still here.
Well, I told Opal to act the part. I'm just going to try and kill the old navigator.
Shall we start with you then?
Let's do that thing.
Okay, we got a couple of ways you can do this. We can just do this as a standard neutralize, or we can do this as a duel.
Ooh, duel. Ooh, new move.
It's on the other moves tab.
Oh,
When you
so it
initiate
is.
single combat with another, ask answer following questions and take +1 forward for each answer in the affirmative.
Okay, well, I cast him away, so I'd like to consider that I have the upper hand.
Absolutely.
I don't think I'm better trained than him, but I don't think I'm necessarily worse trained.
No.
Does your equipment give you a particular advantage for the conflict? Begone, foul angel of the night.
Yeah, I think so. Roll with a +2.
Okay. Keep your fingers crossed, folks. Ah, that's 7.
Okay. So on a 7, you both generate 2 hold. What do you want to do?
I will spend my 2 hold to inflict 4 harm,
Okay.
unwieldy messy, and to block harm. Oh, hang on. Yes, block harm.
So minus half the harm being, so it's harm 3, half the harm 155. So you're going to take 2 harm minus whatever armor you have. He gets the worst end of that. So tell me what that looks like when you're engaged up with him.
Well, I think it's this swirling, it's almost like a large scimitar-sized whip of energy. And as I channel the book, the knowledge, the force of the book, the knowledge of what is right, and just hurl it at him, I think that we see it scar him. And perhaps we begin to reveal what's inside him. The truth of the book is inflicted on him.
Okay.
This
and
dual
I think,
thing.
Yeah, it will hit him. And I think we will see when that hits, we see that sort of overlay of the energy that is the vampire there, where we can see the split parts that are kind of melded and held together within it. Probably illuminated by the light of the conflagration that Arklow has started outside the building, that's coming through here. Here, probably the other windows are exploding inwards in here as that happens. Opal. Yeah, you're on the throne of the city.
Yeah, really. She really wasn't expecting this. I wasn't expecting this. I think, yeah, the mark burns on her forehead, and there's like this momentary moment of just confusion and pain, and sudden utter confusion of what the hell is happening. And then, but then she heard Dabza say act the fucking part. So I think she steadies herself like her hands on the armrest, and then just kind of pushes herself and just says in as loud as she can. I'm not going to say it because some folks are napping. I'm not going to yell it because some folks are napping on the other room. She says, "Enough."
So, what do you think you want to roll for attuning to the High Navigator's throne?
Is that sorry, I was distracted because I saw I saw a move, but you're asking for an emotion state, right?
Yeah.
God, it had to be on a roll. Okay, all right, cool.
I'm going to give you 2 rolls. I'm going to figure out whether you can attune to this and how well you do, and then we're going to figure out what your voice does to the room.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to roll with power. I think there's no way she doesn't feel terribly powerful. Not exactly joy, no, because joy would be a bit more restrained. Oh my God, that's boxcars.
So you will realize that the throne is unoccupied because the High Navigator died. He was brought back, but it's the powers are open and they've been sitting there open, and you will grab a hold of that and you can see how the city is moved. You can feel the heartbeat of it. You can feel that that hurting you will hurt the city. And you can feel that control over it, and then you will let loose with the word. Let's have you roll with that.
Yeah. God, it all feels terribly powerful. And I just spiked out there, so I'm going to roll with that.
Okay.
So that should be a +1. Okay, that's a 9.
That is a 9. So I think that everyone in here stops. That is normal. And I think the lesser vampires will freeze in place. Like that command in this room carries a weight that breaks through the shackles that they have. That means the only two that are still mobile are the High Navigator and Song Cullen. Everybody else is frozen in place. Let's talk with Dantalion, and then let's come back to Arklow.
So, yeah, I think I've got kind of this like crackling energy in my hand that I've pulled out of Song Cullen. So I think I'm just going to look at him where he's kind of still in this moment of being stunned, and I'm just going to bring it up to my mouth, lick it, and then absorb that energy into me. And I'm going to go with Kindred Spirit here. I think when you when I merge with another created or summoned being, both of us are affected in some way. You'll tell me at the appropriate time.
Sure.
How.
Let me see. Yeah, so it will go into you, and it is the weird coldness that you've got that balance of the different almost humors now sort of raging within you. But Song Cullen is just he's just weeping right now. Arklow, you have incinerated a band of vampires outside. You look back in the window that you shattered, and you can see people frozen in place, and you can see that High Navigator and the sort of the crackling energy off of them. What do you do?
So it seems like it's well in hand, really.
Yeah. Are you going to throw yourself up against the angels?
Yep. I got my wizard's fire, my sword. I'm fine.
All right. Let's see how that goes.
Yes. So is that neutralize?
I think so.
Okay. I wonder how I'm feeling. I think it's got to be a mixture of feeling right now. I think there's still the old fear there as well, but
yeah,
if you're, well, yeah, I think that kind of makes sense. Like I can still be afraid and still take them all on. Like the sword is obviously egging me on. This isn't like end game, so I'm gonna spike out. Boom. And I'll roll. Last one was a 10. Oh, yeah, that's a 5.
So I think we see you launch yourself up into the flock of angels. We see you fly up into there, the sword pulling you along. And I think like birds of prey seeing a pigeon being thrown into the air. I think there is this moment when the angels descend and grab a hold of you. And I think they are grabbing a hold of you, and they are prizing that blade from your hands. Does that seem fair?
Yep.
Then let's come back to Damsa. You've got a new figurehead on the throne, who might not just be a figurehead. Song Cullen has been dispatched. The High Navigator still leaves, and there goes Arklow.
I have to finish the High Navigator. There's no question. So I think probably it's another round of duel, is it?
Yeah, you'd still be at a +2.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Which has to be better than almost anything else I have up my sleeve at the moment.
He's trying to pull himself together to bring himself up, grabs a fallen blade. He's swinging that at you, trying to hit the book.
That's 9. So as before, I am going to inflict 4 harm.
Okay.
Minus armor is appropriate.
Okay.
And I am. I have to. Damn. I will block harm. I'm about to go critical, I think.
You will take 2 harm.
Reduced by 1 for the armor.
Take
Did
1.
I read somewhere that you could destroy the armor and remove and get rid of all harm?
Absolutely.
I don't think he's got 4 more in him, so I'm going to destroy the armor and take no harm.
Okay, you did hits and it tears that armor, what you have, off of you, but it staggers back. It's trying to keep itself together, but the energies that have been exposed here, it is barely holding together. Opal.
Yeah.
Angel's killing your friend. High Navigator down here.
Yeah, Jesus. So we can see the angels taking Arklow up.
Oh yeah, actually, in fact, let's say it's almost Crystal Palace style, where there's a great glass ceiling that you can see through, and you can see them, the lights catching it as they're grabbing and ascending with Arklow and pulling that blade out of his hands.
Yeah. I didn't make a deal with my sister for Arklow. I think Opal probably know this, but I don't. Is there like some sort of implement nearby that I could like use to like
The
at
throne
least...
itself is an implement. What do you want it to do?
Yeah,
What sorcery will you call on, Opal? Because I know you love magic.
Yeah. God, yeah. I love being able to just twist apart the natural world. I think this is a
Are you commanding the angels? Are you attacking them? What are you doing?
Yeah, I think this is almost like a divine sort of word. I think this is like as Empyrean as a command could get, I think, is what she's calling upon. I mean,
Okay.
Then
Let's have you roll voice.
Hell yeah. I'm still gonna roll with power. Gonna clear out those spikes. That's a +1. I'm due for a bad roll at some point. Oh no! Wow, I'm doing fine. It's a 9.
That is a 9. You want them to stop this, to go away?
Yes, I want them to bring Arklow back, and
There's two different things there.
Oh, okay.
Do you want them to let Arklow go, or do you want them to bring Arklow back?
Ooh, I want them to bring Arklow back.
Okay, then this swarm of angels will begin to shatter through the ceiling, carrying Arklow here. And when they get the scent of the book, they begin to dive towards Damsa.
Yeah, I can only do one thing. Damsa will have to take care of himself.
Let's do Dantalion, and then let's come to Damsa.
Yes, so I think seeing the host of angels flood in, Dantalion flexes their claws and turns to them, and they're going to call out, say, I do not know what motivates you to do as you do, but these are my friends. I ask that you leave them unharmed. I have no wish to fight you, but fight you I shall, if that is what it takes.
Intimidate.
Sure
You've
thing.
laid down what you will do.
Oh, sorry, I was going to say that's with will be with power again, I think. And actually, no, it will be with mad. I think because this is more about his protecting his friends, which makes a little difference. But that gives me a total of 7 again.
I think that they will see a navigator seated upon the throne who's ordered them. I think that they will stop and hang there in the air. They've still got Arklow in their hands, but they're in the sense that they are probably going to withdraw. Damsa, what do you do?
Kill this fucking navigator. Still +2, I think.
Yes.
Oh, 8. Okay. I will do another 4 harm, bringing a pillar down on the bastard if necessary.
Yeah.
And I will block some harm.
Okay. So I think you will run that across. That energy will hit him, and he will finally just whatever he's trying to hold just will explode. And I think you will see, fragments go. We see some of that hitting those cabinets full of books. We see some of those are burning. We see some of them, have been knocked over in the chaos of this, but he is gone. And I think that is what will make the angels drop Arklow. And they'll drop your sword next to you. And they'll look at you, Dantalion, and you'll hear them say in that voice that's not a voice, you can never come back. And they will lift up back up into the sky. And it gets real crackly quiet in here. Just people who are scared, terrified at the ends, who are watching this whole thing. This crackle of flames, the sound of the last pieces of glass kind of falling from the broken ceiling, and probably the choking sobs of Song Cullen. So what do we see? I want to get a moment in this scene, and then I think we'll probably move to epilogues. Arklow, the camera comes to see you after this. What do we see you doing here?
I think I try to get up and like contemplate going after the angels, and then I just sit down and say that I need to take a rest.
Lean against one of the like broken pillars here, kind of rest back there. The sword is kind of vibrating like, come on, pick me up. Come on. It's kind of sliding a little bit, but you lift your hand away from it. Opal, what about you?
Yeah, I think there's a moment where the adrenaline just finally fades, and like Opal kind of like lets go of the power of the throne for just a bit.
Right.
And I think there's a moment where like she kind of like almost kind of like falters, but then she kind of like finds herself and stops herself from like kind of like falling, and she stays kind of like resolute. She was standing up, and then she looks at like the scene, and I think she's smooth her face back into, you know, completely in control, not giving away anything. Opal Ocean. And I don't know exactly what she says, but probably something cool. I think she sees just a crowd, I guess, and I think damn it, I wish I had I wish I knew what she'd say at this moment, other than
I think a knowing smile is enough, don't you?
yeah. I think she'll just scan the crowd, who's kind of like probably a lot of folks warily like looking at her, song Cullen kind of like crying there. I think probably at the back of the crowd she meets eyes with her sister, and she'll give her a nod and a knowing
She doesn't
smile.
look well pleased. Speaking of what she's not well pleased about, Damsa, what do we see from you in this moment here?
I think there's this kind of horror as the books begin to burn. And he slams the tome down on the ground in front of him, and he grits it and then opens it. There must be something in here to stop the books burning. But I think what he discovers, if I understand this correctly, I can say what it contains.
Yeah.
The information you need to find and open the vaults of the Order with the last secret knowledge hidden in its recesses. Because what we see as the books begin to kind of blacken and crumble and fall out of the shelves is a vast supercomputer, which the librarians hid in plain sight when they were cast out of the central spire.
It looks like the machinery that we saw early on in sort of the prologue bits with Arklow, the golden devices and things like that. It has that sort of weird thing, and while you know what it is, but everyone else is like, what is going on? To them, it looks like some sort of weird statue or sculpture or something like that. That's banks of that across there. And Dantali, what do we see for you in this, and then we're going to go to epilogues.
I think so. Dantalion is going to walk over to Opal and well, he sort of nods his head, but then after a moment goes down on one knee before her and says, "My lady, if there is anything you wish of me, please ask." And he's going to hold out a hand actually to the throne and says, "May I?"
I think she'll nod and let you.
And he's going to place a hand on the throne. And what I would like to do here, if I may, is activate the Abyss Stairs back.
Absolutely.
And I think this will be with power because, yeah, it's a throne. Unfortunately, that's only a 6.
That is only a 6. The throne is silent to your touch. You can feel there's damage in the city. There's corruption here. You can feel that there's pain, but it won't let you through because you're not fully human.
Cool.
Pull your hand back. Let's move to epilogues. Arklo, what is your epilogue?
I think scared from being revealed with the deception of the other wizard who's most likely dead now. I think Arklo's plan is to become a god himself. The Odin origin story is coming.
Heads off, sailing out to the land to go there and find a way to ascend.
Yep, looking for that spear and that hanging or some other approximation in this world.
That it is. Sometimes you got a hero quest to go up to the god plane and find what you need, man.
Yeah,
That's how it works. Then Opal, what is your epilogue?
I think we see. Sorry, just gonna be a bit involved. We see Open Evening being escorted through the High Navigator's palace place, I guess, lodgings, and she's directed to like to a small room. And before she can get in, probably bursting out of the door is Ella Vickers, looking very annoyed. And as she walks past Open Evening, and she walks in, and it's almost like a facsimile of Opal's rooms at the Color of Dusk. So it's still the couch and the divan and the table, the nice new table that
doesn't have a sword through it. Yeah.
Actually, there probably is like there are probably some markings that I don't know Arklo left behind before he went off his hero quest. And the tapestry still there. There's a balcony, and Opal still looks like Opal, except she's got that tattoo on her forehead, and it looks like she still has ledgers and whatnot, but I think Open can see that like those aren't just petty businesses. They're now entire factions, entire guilds, sort of like just notes and books and whatnot. And they'd probably have some small talk. Opal sends for some cheeses or something, and Opal kind of like just tosses out that like, well, I know your apprenticeship didn't last too long, but I heard there's an opening at the Midnight's Cadence. Apparently, some of its members weren't too keen on their leader taking out an assassination attempt on the new High Navigator. But like I said, you probably have another offer heading your way, Open, and whatever you choose, I'd be happy with it.
I think we'll see her nod. The decision not quite made yet. Damsa, what is your epilogue?
It rather depends what Open says, because there is another offer coming her way. Now that the librarians have been returned to the place of honor they deserve, she could be the next master librarian.
I think she will say you will have many people who can be your apprentice. Maybe if you were the underdog and there was no one but me, maybe I'd consider it, but you will have many people. And then you can put up with Opal. So
and so we will cut then to Damsa. I'm imagining inside the tower, the central spire, there's a large circular stair that ramp goes up the middle of the building. And all the scholars will have been forced to come out and see a procession led by Damsa with a dozen apprentices. And he makes his way to the top of the spire, and there he sets light to the final page of the Gajendra the Humming Rowdy Bard and Master Librarian's book, and so her soul can indeed ascend to where all knowledge comes from.
Lovely. Dentalian, what is your epilogue?
Sorry. Yeah, so I think the last we see is they are in a nice pleasure house of some variety. I think it's sort of there's divans set out and plates of food, and they are they take a seat next to a sort of aristocratic looking person, and they just pop a grape into their mouth and say, "Good evening. My name is Symphony. It is a pleasure to meet you."
Nice. And that's our show. That's our game, everybody. Thank you so much. I would like to do stars and wishes here. If you have a few minutes to do a quick once around, let's start with wishes. Things you would have liked to have seen more of. Things when I go to look at the reskin, I should keep in mind for the next iteration of this. Just to put that out there. And then we'll do stars. Fraser, wishes?
I think I got everything I wanted. Although I forgot about the whole healing thing until I looked at the harm of that. So I wish I had remembered that. But
what was the thing with the healing?
Oh, I didn't remember that the sword made it so I could only heal by harming things until I looked at the damage this session.
Oh yeah, that's right. But I think it works with the scarring and stuff. I think that loops around that. That makes sense.
Yeah. I always maxed it out at least.
Yes, that you did. You did push it all the way to the end. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Leandro, wishes?
I'm not sure. I didn't expect Opal to get what she wanted, and part of me kind of didn't want her to get what she wanted. But yeah, like I mentioned last week that she was kind of a terrible person, and
Yeah.
I think redeemed only by the friendship that Damsa perceived to have between them, which I think that if we had more time, that probably would have fleshed out a bit more to being like, oh, okay, maybe she accidentally made a true connection with Damsa, even though she was planning to sell him out through this session. So it's not really a wish, more like, oh wow, I didn't expect that to happen.
Yeah, I wish I'd been able to get, things got crazy there. I wish I'd been able to get your sister on screen so that we'd had to make that choice and make that public demonstration. I think that's a good point.
Yeah. I just, the whole, I mean, this is going to lead into stars. Like, this is not complaint at all of what happened. Like, the direction it went to, I think, yeah, it would have been nice to have that choice, but the alternative, which is what we got, was cool.
Okay.
I was very cool with that. I was very unexpected, but that's more of a stars thing. But yeah, I don't think I have any.
Sure. Alan, wishes?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't think of a way in the cut and thrust to find out if this is what Opal wanted, but it seemed like the lesser of two evils at the time, and I was banking on it being better having the navigator on side than off side. The only system thing I wonder is the Tome of Secrets is an interesting one. I don't. It feels like it should be. It's a bit like the masks. You know, when you take narrative control for a minute, and I
Mhm.
don't know if it would be worth making that more explicit in it.
That's a really good point.
Because it does feel like, you know, within that sentence that you choose, you can kind of do anything you like. And I don't know if as just an advance, that's kind of that maybe that's too powerful. I don't know.
No, I think that's a really good point, though, framing it a little bit more towards the way that what do they call that in Masks? You
Moment of
unlock
truth.
your moment of
Moment of
truth.
truth. And the only other thing I think is whether runes work, because actually what you're doing is piecing together someone's almost their innate personality. And I wondered if you called them shards rather than runes.
That's a good point. Yeah, it has too much of, it's a magic-y sounding thing, but it has too many connotations.
Yeah, I kept thinking when I first started, I was thinking, oh, I have to find a rune.
No, that makes sense.
But outside that, no, I think it hangs together very well. I love Duel.
Oh, good. Yeah, Duel was fun. We hadn't had a chance to do a real one-on-one, so I was glad to get that on the table. David, wishes?
Yeah, the again, the only real system one for me was I thought the like the Gold for Advances idea is a nice idea, and I think if we'd been playing a more like D&D adventure style game, it would have worked. But in this, because we were feeling quite plot focused, it always felt like a bit of a distraction to just go, oh, and while we're preparing for the for the big fight, I'm going to go out and see if I can scratch together some money, because
I think I might take that out, and rather than doing that, just steal like the gigging rules from Apocalypse World, where you kind of have to make that choice about whether you want to live well or live okay, and you make that roll for generating money, and make it a little bit easier that way.
Yeah, that might work. Yeah, that was but that was the only sort of thing that I felt was kind of like an obstacle, as it were.
Okay.
But no, that was cool. That just a very, very minor thing. I think in the I don't remember the precise details now, but just something that came to mind that I just thought of. Actually, I think in the write up for the summoned, I think there are a couple of instances where the like names for bits haven't been changed, so it's. I mean, because I also had the regular playbooks in front of me, it was enough to. I think it was the specific. I think it was the humanity thing. I think is still referred to as essence in at least one of the moves.
Okay.
So just as a like tiny, just as a kind of proofreading type thing. That's just
that's a good point, because I got to go through and do another pass. That makes sense. I appreciate that. Let's do stars. Fraser, you had to play your game in a very different framework. Anything you want to point to in terms of stars for play, for events, for other characters? What do you want to say?
Yeah, I loved it. It's super fun to see like all of the playbooks translated into fantasy, and how like even just that translation generally affects like the tone and the mood and everything like that. It's definitely the most like I don't know, like action packed version of the Veil that I've played. And yeah, I thought everybody did a great job with their characters. It was all very like interesting and fun and still player driven. I appreciated you letting me go wild out there with me being like, I don't know what this character is gonna be. It's gonna be Odin. Yeah, I thought all of it was awesome and fun, and I hadn't gotten to play the game in a very long time, so I appreciated it.
Awesome. Leandro.
Yeah. Yeah, big stars everyone for just like really doing a lot of unexpected stuff. I guess that's my main thing is like everyone really had very fun, creative, weird ideas. And definitely they were rolling with the tone change. Definitely I'm gonna keep using the word definitely a lot apparently. Yeah, I think people really had great ideas even from the jump, like just this weird city of on the seas and people just like willing to push things along, like Arklow. Just Fraser's going like, okay, I want my character to be scarred, and by the end of it, it will be just like Odin, and then like, no, just committing to that. I think what my favorite bit is like everyone just committing to their characters, and like Dantalion, David always had very interesting answers for whenever he always succeeded on that role. With Dantalion and Alan, just like out of left field, sort of just out of the box sort of like ideas for stuff. Like, again, did not expect the whole High Navigator thing to shake out like that. And even going back to when you were trying to demonstrate the book to Opal, and like, no, I have to do this thing. I'm gonna spend this rune on the demon. We're just gonna find out their true name. There we go. We're just gonna do it here, and stuff like that. And of course, it's always a start to yourself low for like just keeping this all together. Some great NPCs, some great twists. Vampires, fuck off. Jesus Christ. It was just a big everyone gelling together. It was really great. And man, I'm gonna miss this place quite a bit.
Alan, stars?
I think that the way that you helped us shape the place, from that very bare bones first session where you have ticks and boxes, but it was very three-dimensional by the end, and you kept pressing us to add a little bit of detail here, a little bit of detail there to help fill in the gaps. That was great. Leandro, Opal is, she will be the most tragic navigator the city ever has, because that is her fate. And Fraser, Arklow is just off the scale. This is a man who should not be trusted with magic. But a particular star, David, I think that the way that you kind of unpicked the background behind Dantalion, on the hoof, every time, just adding a little bit more of the third dimension was just tremendous. So no, that was great. I had a great time. Thank you. I just wish I hadn't missed one or two.
Yeah. No, I guess that'd be on my wishes. I wish we'd have been able to have you for some of that, but David, anything you want to say stars wise?
Yeah, they're definitely stars all around. I say specific more for broad stuff. I really liked the I loved all of the characters, but I really liked again seeing that very sort of epic magic style of Arklow, and really sort of leaning into the sort of powerful magic, but also that kind of, it always did feel like that kind of, the sort of like saying a kind of the Odin style, no magic comes without a cost. All that sort of stuff was a really nice thing to see sort of brought into the game. So that was really cool to see. Alan, again, I found Damsel was a really interesting character. You said they I think I may have said this before, but if not, I certainly thought it before. They definitely felt like they were coming in from the Pratchett side of the the fantasy genre, I suppose, and that they had that kind of the sort of very like humble and down to earth thing. And a lot of the time even though they had sort of the magical power at their disposal, a lot more of the time what they did was just based on like doing doing normal things and stuff like that, and or like with the bit with the throne and stuff like that. That was a really nice idea. And Leandro again, Opal was great fun to play off of. Is nice to see, sort of like that again, very yes, a bit of, I guess, a bit of the sort of the Magnificent Bastard style thing, where it's like, you even when she was there betraying people and stuff, you always felt like you were rooting for her, because they probably deserved it more than she did in the end. So that was great to see him play. And Lowell, thank you very much for running. I really like the details you sort of put into the reskinning side of it was really cool. Really like the setup stuff at the beginning. That was really nice. I absolutely loved the Summon playbook, which I guess is a start to both you and to Fraser.
Mm-hmm. It's a great playbook. It's a great playbook.
Yeah. Said the NPCs, the complications and stuff that kept coming on, have been spot on all the way through. So thank you very much.
I want to say you guys gave me great material all through this. Not the least of which is everybody rolling so badly throughout. But no, you put stuff out there that was great and fun to reincorporate about the storms, about the way the guilds worked, about what demons were. It was Alan that was like, "Oh, I think the High Navigator's dying." I was like, "Okay, I guess that's what we're going with," and it was great. Lots of stuff that you threw me that I could reincorporate. And the other thing is, everyone had such a good character arc. Like, you had a really, for me, just was wonderful to see the full arc of your characters throughout here. And so super fun to run that when people lean into it and evolve and change over time. So thank you all very much. I had a great time running this. I enjoy these characters, and I will be sad to leave the city, but it's been a great story. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.